Welcome to Before the Whistle, bringing you this week's SEC news. This week we picked out 5 key SEC games that we're going to analyze and talk over. Our first game is Arkansas versus Texas A&M.
Ever since Texas A&M has joined the SEC, Arkansas has struggled against this team. But I'm going to be bold and pick Arkansas to pull through with this W. Arkansas's offense has been pretty explosive so far. Austin Allen and Raleigh Williams are having great seasons. And Arkansas has one of the best receiving corps in the SEC, in my opinion. One in particular is senior tight end Jeremy Sprinkle. He's had a somewhat of a quiet year with 9 receptions with only 97 yards, but I expect him to come out big against Texas A&M. He's 6'6", 256 pounds. When he's out there playing, he's a grown man among children. Now on the other side with Texas A&M, their offense has also been making strides. Trevor Knight has had a great year with 830 yards, and their run game is right there with it, doing great. One player in particular is Christian Kirk. Last year, Arkansas had a lot of problems with Christian Kirk. But this year, Arkansas' secondary has improved tremendously. So if Arkansas can hold Christian Kirk, then I think Arkansas can pull it with this W.
I agree.
I disagree. I gotta go Texas A&M.
I think Trevor Knight's too much for that defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really close game, and I think whoever wins this game, it's going to be between them and Alabama for the West.
Yeah, I really think if the secondary can keep Trevor Knight contained, throwing the ball deep, then I think Arkansas can pull out with an easy win. But it's going to be back and forth a lot. It's really going to come down to the running. I think passing, they're going to have it's going to go back and forth, but I think the running backs is what's going to come
Another reason I give Arkansas a slight edge in this game is because Arkansas has a lot of options. If their run game is not doing good, they can turn to the pass game, vice versa.
But so can Texas A&M.
It's true.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I will say Arkansas has been a surprise. I mean, they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be.
It'll be a good game.
So who do you have?
I've got Texas A&M.
I got Arkansas.
Arkansas.
A&M.
Our next game is LSU at Auburn.
Now, LSU really found a good quarterback last week in Danny Etling. He's 25 of 44, 315 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Before him, they had Brandon Harris, and he just wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette is their top rusher with 51 carries, 285 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Really had a mediocre season so far. And then last week, they really got their receivers the ball. 10 receptions for Doral, 95 yards, and 1 touchdown. Also, a receiver to watch out for is Malachi Dupree. He's really talented. On the other side of things, Auburn, Sean White looks to be their top quarterback now. He got rolling. He's 45 for 71, 510 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Johnson with the running game, 56 carries, 278 yards, 4 touchdowns. So about the same as Fournette there, really. I mean, it's give and take.
Yeah, but Fournette really
Fournette missed
out
a
last
game
week.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you never know what you're going to get with Fournette. He's been up and down.
Especially against a defense like Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn's defense is I mean, you saw what they did to Clemson.
Yeah.
But they receiving Stevens, 13 receptions, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good.
And Texas A&M and Auburn's defense held Texas A&M a very good offense to only 17 points.
And I think Auburn could possibly pull out this game if, in fact, they keep the home crowd on their side and they just play together. And I think being at home is a real key for them.
Right. So who do you have winning this game?
I've got LSU, and the reason I have LSU is because one, you got Leonard Fournette, and in my opinion, he's the best running back in the nation. The reason he couldn't get it going early in the season was because they just couldn't pass the ball. And now with Danny Etling, they can. I think they're going to get rolling against Auburn and show what they can do.
Yeah, I got LSU. I think that they're kind of just going to roll over Auburn. I want to see Auburn win the game just to kind of spice it up, but I think Leonard Fournette, Danny Etling, I think they're just going to make a great duo, and I think I got LSU winning.
Yeah, I got LSU winning this game. They have a good backfield, Leonard Fournette and guys. They're both great running backs, and LSU's passing game is going to be improved with Etling at quarterback.
Yeah, Geis is a good talent. He's good.
I'm going to go against Joe. I think I've got Auburn winning this game. I think their defense is just too strong for LSU. I agree that Leonard Fournette has been better since they've opened up a pass game, but I just think that defense is too strong.
Yeah, our third game is South Carolina versus Kentucky.
I'm going to go with South Carolina on this game. I just feel like they're the better team. Brandon McElwain for South Carolina. He's 32 of 61, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Their running game, A.J. Turner, he's had a very mediocre season, 35 carries, 115 yards. And their top receiver, Edwards, has 15 receptions for 207 yards. And on the other side, Kentucky, they lost 2 weeks ago to Florida pretty bad. And I feel like Florida's a very mediocre team since they lost Luke Del Rio. And so I'm giving South Carolina the edge. Kentucky's quarterback, Johnson, only has 355 yards in the whole season. Their running back's done pretty well. He's got 341 yards and 1 touchdown. And Will Muschamp's defenses are always good, so I feel like Kentucky is no match for South Carolina this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think South Carolina's going to be able to pull this W pretty easily.
I think they win this game by at least 17 points.
Yeah, Kentucky, they just have not been up to par as what they've usually been. So, I got South Carolina.
All right. And our next game is Ole Miss versus Georgia.
Yeah, this one, I got Ole Miss. You look at the stats, they lost 43-48 last week against Alabama. Pretty decent game. Chad Kelly really did throw the ball a lot, over 400 yards, I believe, through the air. That's pretty impressive. They spread the ball around too. That's another key thing. But on the other hand, you've got Georgia. I think they finally found a quarterback in Jacob Eason. He threw the ball 55 times last week.
Which is a record.
Yeah, which is a record. He threw for 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. I think a negative is that Jacob Eason got sacked 4 times in the last game, which really proves to show that their offensive line really needs to work on who they're guarding and whatnot. Nick Chubb had a pretty mediocre game. He had 64 yards, averaged about 3.5 yards carry, didn't really do too much. But when you look at the other side of the ball with Ole Miss's rushing, they kind of didn't do too hot last week, but they did have some impressive plays getting past Alabama's front 7, which is pretty hard to do. I just think that with all the stats you see and Chad Kelly and whoever else, I just believe that it's Ole Miss's game.
Yeah, you look at the Georgia's game last week, they played Missouri really close. That last, a touchdown within 2 minutes?
They scored in the last minute.
That was a 1-point game.
Right, and I think Ole Miss playing Alabama that good, with that large of a lead early, I think Ole Miss is going to come out and pretty much do whatever they want against Georgia.
Yeah, I have Ole Miss.
I'm going to say Ole Miss, but I think Georgia, if they play Jacob Eason this week, it'll open up the run game for Nick Chubb, so Nick Chubb might have a pretty good game this week. But I'm still going to go Ole Miss.
And now it's time for the game of the week. Florida at Tennessee.
Yeah, this game, I think, could potentially decide the East. It should be a really close game, and although ESPN gives Tennessee a 71% chance of winning, I don't think it's going to be.
It will not be anywhere near as lopsided as that.
I think the only reason they got that is because Del Rio's out. I think that could be a key factor.
I think it will be, though. You look at Tennessee, they've had a very mediocre season, but I don't know, Tennessee's always had a way of playing to the level of their opponents.
Yeah.
That's true. You look at the Alabama game last year, played them right down to the
you look last year, they played bad against some of the lesser opponents last year, too. And
but they also played against
They played great against Alabama.
Right.
So, I feel like it's favored, right? Towards Tennessee?
Considering the fact that Del Rio's out and Appleby will most likely be starting, I think it could be a Tennessee win, but it's kind of just one of those games where you just kind of hope for the best, and it's kind of a coin flip from there.
Yeah, and Tennessee's offense has really struggled against not very good teams, and to go up against Florida's defense, it's going to be a hard task.
But I don't know if you can credit Florida's defense with that much because they haven't played anybody this year.
Yeah, but look at Tennessee's defense.
They've got UMass, Kentucky, and North Texas.
Tennessee's defense hasn't played anybody either, and they're not showing out.
However, they have not allowed big points. It's all been low-scoring games.
But I think you lose Cam Sutton, he's out, so that'll really hurt them.
Jalen Reeves-Maven.
But now you're getting
he's in.
You're getting a couple of defensive players back. Am I right?
Yeah, Jalen Reeves-Maven is going to play. You're getting Chance Hall on the O-line back. He's a big guy who's supposed to start this season.
I think for Tennessee to win this game, Josh Dobbs really going to have to utilize handing the ball off to Jalen Hurd and passing to Josh Malone. Josh Malone has to go off in order for Tennessee to win this game.
Right, he's become really the go-to receiver for Joshua Dobbs. the deep ball threat, everything they really expected him to be when he first came in.
It's going to be close, but I think I have Tennessee winning this game. What about you?
I've got Tennessee winning this game by a pretty big margin. I think Josh Dobbs and Jalen Hurd are going to go off in this game. I think Florida's defense just isn't what people think it is.
I got to go down south to my guys in the swamp. I got to get that gator chop. I think Appleby is really going to help.
2-9 with Purdue.
Yeah, 2-9 with Purdue.
No.
He's probably not going to do much, but they have a very strong defense, decent running game. They have some pretty decent receivers. I think it's going to be a Gator win.
So as an overall pick for this game, who will win?
Checker Neyland, Smokey Grays. I gotta go UT. Finally snapping the win streak.
Man,
I agree.
I agree
I
too.
think it's going to be close, but you got to get that Gator chop in here. So.
Well, you know what? I think you're wrong.
We'll have to wait and see.